So if you're asking yourself, hey, she has the same makeup look as the past few videos we've seen. Did she just change clothes and put her hair up to give the appearance of filming on a different day? Yes, I did. I'm just on a roll today. I'm doing a lot of talking videos, a lot of just quick and easy, at least for me, videos on thoughts on various things. And I also got cold, so I changed into my sweater dress, which is actually quite cozy. So here we are. Today, we are going to be reviewing a bunch of Sigma brushes that I got. So I tried to look up my order to see like what I bought, because I think I bought like a set and a one-off, and I think this is the one-off. I think this is the single brush that I got, either that or this one. I'm not sure. But I bought a set of brushes from Sigma called like the Contour and Glow kit or something to that effect. And it's a set of, at the very least, these brushes and possibly one or both of these. I got it on sale when Sigma was having like that big sale over the summer, and I figured I would come here and review and talk about them with you guys. Sigma is kind of, at least in my world, kind of coming back into vogue a little bit in terms of their brushes, and I just wanted to give these a shot to see what they were good for, and I've had them for a while, so now I know what they're good for, which is complicated. And I'm actually forgetting one. Give me one second. There's also this brush. I am certain that these brushes came in the set. I think one of these did, just to be clear. But we're gonna talk about them because some of them are really weird, and some of them are really surprising, and I just want to give thought. So here I am on camera with a bunch of brushes in front of me, and I'm going to tell you what I think about them. But first, just to kind of give you a sense of where I am in terms of my face. Back in the spring, I had a really very extreme reaction to something on my face, and I had a lot of really painful, I think it's just contact dermatitis in this area of my face, and it kind of came up a little bit, but it's largely concentrated down here. And when that happened, I actually got rid of a lot of my face brushes because I couldn't use them anymore because they were just really, really irritating that area of my face. And to be honest, I shouldn't have gotten rid of them. That's a regret that I have, but since then, I've been using a damp beauty sponge. This is the Real Techniques sponge. And honestly, I don't like using sponges. There's nothing wrong with the way that they do their thing, but I don't like having my hands wet. I don't like getting foundation on my hands. I would much rather use a brush for everything humanly possible. It's just my preference. So in trying to replace some of the brushes that I tossed, I picked up some of these from Sigma. Until I bought these, I'd never owned a Sigma brush before. And this is the contour set that they had. It might be discontinued because it was on sale when I bought it and it's no longer there. I couldn't find it, but that is what I got. But it contains, or the brushes that I have in front of me are the F23 Soft Angled Contour, the F04 Extreme Structure Contour, the F56 Accentuate Highlighter, the F57 Emphasize Contour. If you saw my makeup experiment video with this, I tried to use this with foundation. I'll tell you how that went in a minute. I also have the Chisel and Trim Contour F77. I have the Spotlight Duster F37. And finally, I have the High Cheekbone Highlighter F83. All right, so I'll just go through that list and tell you what I think. So the Soft Angled Contour F23, this definitely is soft. It has a tapered edge here, and I would say it's probably maybe a half an inch thick in the bristles. It's very soft. It feels good on my sensitive face. I didn't mention it before, but I actually had another contact dermatitis issue a couple weeks ago, and my face is still kind of healing. I've used this in a couple of different ways. I've used it for contour, like it suggests. I've used it for highlight. I used it today for powdering my face. And I think of all of those, I like this for powdering my face best, at least right now. I do have a replacement that might be a good fit that's on its way to me. I plan on keeping this. I think having a brush like this is super useful, and this is soft. Like, I'm like running this in my sensitive areas of my face, and it's really not bugging anything except for over here where it's just swollen. I did like using it to lay down powder. I thought it did a very good job, and it's big enough for my big ass face. So this is from my inexperience in rating brushes. I like this. If you have a need for this shape, I think that you can't go wrong. So this contour kit, or this contour set, has a few really strange brushes, and the next 4 are in that group. So this is the Extreme Structure Contour, the F04. It is a flat, it's not flat, it is a domed brush with, I would say, probably medium density and like a flat-ish top. It reminds me a lot of like a blending brush, like an eyeshadow blending brush, just bigger. And the thing about this isn't necessarily that it's bad. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with any of these brushes. They're just weird and not necessarily shapes and types that I have an immediate use for. And that's definitely true of this. I think that this was best used as a base highlight brush. So if you're not familiar, I typically do 2 layers of highlight. I get a soft, fluffy, dense brush and kind of buff a like low shine highlighter in a wider area here, and then I take a different brush, which is actually in this kit, and kind of dust a more blingy highlighter on top. So this is good for that, but I like this brush better for it because it's a bit more broad in like where it finally lays down. This surface area is a lot flatter than this. It's not flat in and of itself, but it's flatter, and this is way more round. But they are similar brushes. This also has a lot more slip to it. Like, so the one I'm holding up is the Morphe E8, and this brush has a lot more texture and grip to it that's very good for picking up highlighter. Whereas this, especially like here, like if you feel here on the bristles, it's very slick. It's a very slidey, slippery brush. Again, it's not bad. I don't love it for contour powders. I think contour powders are a bit dry for this, but if you like a diffused highlight, I think this is good for that. I don't plan on getting rid of this brush, but I do think it will be in more of an archive space, more of a specialty brush area. Not one that I need out on my desk with me all the time, but not one that, but I occasionally have use for it enough that I don't feel the need to get rid of it. The next weird brush is the Accentuate Highlighter, the F56. This is made out of the same bristles as the other brush, and as you can see, it's one of those that holds powder like crazy. I've used this to bake under my contour here. Here's the thing about curved brushes like this. Faces don't curve the same way, right? Like, the curves of my face are not the curves of this brush. And I feel like you are much better with a softer angled brush than you are with a hard curve like this. The idea, I think, of it is to take your highlighter and press through here. And if you use cream highlighter, it might be good for that. But again, the brushes, the bristles here have that slip to them. And I just really haven't found a lot of use for this. I don't really have a very strong need for it. I feel like if I did something really structured, like a Maleficent look, I might use this, but it's really too small. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a well-constructed brush. I think it's just not something that's good for what I need. Honestly, I would use this for like face paint. Yeah, I would use this for face painting because it's so dense and so like tightly cut that I would definitely take this and paint in this area, or even just use it to get a large surface area. But for highlighter, no. The next weird brush actually has a video all on its own. This is the Emphasize Contour F57. It is similar in concept to the brush we just talked about. It's curved, it's very sharply cut, but the bristles are a bit different. They have a little bit more texture, a little bit more grip to them, and obviously it's bigger. I used this for foundation a couple of times. That's the video that I've discussing, and I'll link it up in the cards. It doesn't work very well for that. It's very streaky. But in terms of contouring, again, like a brush cut like this is gonna leave really harsh lines. And that was my problem with the highlighter one too. I don't want, like, I never use them for highlighter contour because I don't reach for them for that. Because why would I want such a harsh edged contour? Even if I'm going for a strong contour, I still need to blend it. So I'm just kind of like this is okay for under the jaw, but again, like that curve is really for one part of your face, and that makes it really not useful as just a brush broadly, because you kind of need your brushes to be able to do different things, because you're not always going to use the brush for what the manufacturer thinks you ought to use it for. So these two here are just kind of like, they're not bad, they're well made, but I don't really have a use for them. The next brush is another like really clean cut brush, and it's also dense and holds powder very well. This is the Chisel and Trim Contour brush, the F77. This is, I think, a brush that a lot of people would find useful, just not me. This is a brush that in theory is good for cleaning up contour under here, but in my experience it doesn't hold powder well enough to actually do that. I can set it in my translucent powder and run it through here, but as you saw, like it just holds onto the powder. It doesn't actually deposit it. And so if I was going to do that, I'd have to go in on the edge, but the edge doesn't hold the powder, it just falls off. So again, this would be another really good one for face painting, I think, and not a ton else. Maybe people who have a different powder than I do, who, you know, appreciate a really incredibly sharp contour through here, might find this useful, and I might use this for a really sharp contour as well. At least it's not curved, so I can like bring it through here and actually like buff it a bit. But again, with that really sharp cut, with that really sharp edge, I don't really have use for it in my day-to-day. This is similar to a brush that I have from Morphe, which is the E47. The E47 is smaller and more precise. I got this in the Jaclyn Hill Favorites kit forever ago, and she said that she used it for cleaning up through here. I imagine you could do something similar with this, but this brush picks up and holds powder better. It just does. So the last two brushes are brushes that I actually use a lot, one of which I use because I don't have anything else and it's okay, and the other I love. So this first one is the Spotlight Duster F37. I might have bought this on its own because I have been looking for a brush to put powder under my eyes. And I thought that this was going to be good for that, but it's not. It's really incredibly floppy. I don't know if you can see that. And this would be good for if you have a blush that's way too dark and way too pigmented for your skin, like almost all of them are for me. You can use this to get a really, really light application, and the fluff that these brushes have is really good for distributing that product softly because the brush will bend almost before it deposits product. But for what I bought this for, it sucks. When I'm pressing powder into my eye, like not into my eye, into my under eye, I actually need it to press down. And this just doesn't, like, it bends so much that I do use it, and I use it semi-frequently, but when I do, I have to like take the bristles and do it this way, which is not my favorite. I can see someone use, like if someone really likes a very, very light dusting of highlighter, this would also be good for that. I mean, it is called a Spotlight Duster, and I think that's a great name for it. It will dust product onto your face very lightly, and it's great for that. And I do have uses for it, just not for what I bought it for. And then finally, this is the High Cheekbone Highlighter, which is F03. I fucking love this. I love this. I don't know if it was in the kit or not, but I'm almost certain that it was, because I'm not sure I would have bought this and I would have really missed out. So this is a really amazing brush. It's got this tapered edge up to the top, which comes to a point, and it is pretty flat overall. It's got like a little bit of fluff to it, but it's not super, super fluffy. It's got, I'd say, like a light medium density. You know, it's got good movement in it. This is a great brush for top highlight. As I mentioned before, I usually take a broader, fluffier brush into my highlight, and I will buff it broadly in this area. And that gets me that more natural glow, that softer glow, but that's not good enough for me almost ever. And so I will take either the same highlighter or a different one and take this brush and kind of put it in the product this way, and I can just pull it across my cheekbone. So like I'm making this motion, but it doesn't hit under my cheekbone. It just hits the top, and it is so amazing. And then if I hit too much, because this brush has like this domed top and a little bit of fluff to it, I can actually buff it out just a bit. Not a lot, because that's not what this is for, but it's really great. If you're also the kind of person who likes to like sweep their highlighter on, this would be good for that as well. If you like to use like a really pointed tip, it's really good for that too. I think that this is an excellent, excellent brush, and I'm so glad that I've got it. On the brushes in general, I know a lot of people put this at the beginning of their videos, but I find it really boring, so I'm putting it at the end. They are black handled with a silver ferrule, and they feel really good. They feel very well constructed. You know, I like my Morphe brushes, but even the Elite, which are my favorite ones that I own, they feel cheap. Like there's this ridge here between the ferrule and the bristles, which I just think is kind of cheap, but these just feel so solid. And if you didn't know, Sigma brushes tend to have a 2-year warranty on them, which is really cool too. I really like these brushes as brushes, right? Like I mentioned, a lot of the shapes weren't right for me, and a lot of the uses that they have just aren't a part of my makeup routine. But I'm very excited to continue to purchase from Sigma. I'm very impressed with the quality of the brushes that I've got. I actually just ordered, I think, 3 other Sigma brushes that I'm very excited to get and to start playing with. So they are a little bit pricier than Morphe, but I do think, at least so far, they are worth the money. And if they go for 2 years, they'll certainly be worth it to my Morphe brushes, because at least my face brushes only tend to last for about a year. So I'm very happy with that. So yeah, that's my review of my Sigma face brushes that I own currently. They aren't all for me, but hopefully, I believe all of these are still sold as singles, and so hopefully me talking through them, showing them to you one by one and at all different angles will help you to make a decision on whether or not to pick them up for yourself. From what I've seen, even my eye brush that I've got, they all have like a really, really good construction to them. And if you can find them, if you feel confident in their shape and that you have use for them, I think these are great, to be perfectly honest. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you liked it, please do give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite brushes are in general, but if you like Sigma brushes, tell me which ones I should pick up. I'm excited to explore this line a little bit more. If you like me and my flowing red hair that is sometimes up, please do subscribe to the channel as well. I am a little inconsistent with my uploads right now, but in general you can count on 1 video a week. You can find me on the internet at Faces by Gina. I have a Facebook and an Instagram under that name where I upload every single day. And also, if you hang on toward the end of this video, I'm going to be putting up some other stuff that I have made on YouTube so that you can check that out too. I hope that you're having a great day no matter where you are, and please do remember to think deeply and critically engage the world around you as you're being good to yourself and good to other people as well. I will see you out there on the internet. Bye.